All right. So in our lecture 3, we are going to be continuing solving some examples by using the method completing of two squares. I remember giving you some example the other day where you use the short method I taught you. And the short method I taught you is just to help you to know the answer even before you use the method of completing of two squares to solve it. Okay? Because most questions you are going to be meeting in the examination hall is going to ask you, is going to be specific. Okay? It will be telling you to use a particular method. Okay, so if they say you use the method of completing of two squares and you're going to use that method, you'll be penalized. Okay, so we want to see how you're going to use the method of completing of two squares to solve this. But even before we do that, can you give me a brief or a summary of whatever we learned last week? If you could remember anything, can you tell me something as a layman?
Yeah. So that when the coefficient is positive, the it will be minimum to be a minimum value, but when the coefficient is negative, it will be a maximum value.
Okay,
Uh,
is that all you can remember?
uh,
Can you tell me something else in addition to what you just told me? Because I remember we learned a lot, right? So kindly tell me
yes,
more. I want you to educate me. Okay. Yes. So this time that is how we are going to be doing the learning. When I teach you, the next time I meet you, you tell me a summary of whatever we learned last week. Is that right? So that is I'm expecting you to always read your notebook before coming to class. All right. So please continue.
uh,
Okay. So you can't remember any other thing else again,
yes, no,
but you have the textbook beside you.
yes, please.
So at least you should be able to tell me something. All right. I remember we learned a lot the last time we met, and I remember telling you that uh, quadratic function. Anytime you see a quadratic function like this, okay, and
Yeah.
you mistakenly put x to be 0, it means that it is no more going to become hot. It is no more going to become hot. Or you put a, even a is equal to 0. The a is the hot. The 3 over here. Okay. Yes. So if you
Mm-hmm.
put a to be 0, it means that it's going to be your relation is now going to become a linear function and no more a quadratic function. That is what I remember also saying that. Do you remember?
Yes,
Okay, so tell me any other thing. You just told me one, I told you one. So you tell me a different one again and we continue.
right. Mm.
All right. Um, if you don't have anything to tell me, I'm okay. Um, can you read the question we have on the board? What what is the question trying to say? Using the method of completing of two square, simplify the above. Simplify the above. Tomorrow, we have class tomorrow. I want to confirm from you, face to face and online, which are you going in for?
All right.
Why do you prefer the online to the face to face? You don't want to see me because you're afraid I'll lash you. All right. Quickly read the question we have on the board and let's proceed.
Using a method of completing of two squares, simplify the above.
Again,
Using a method of completing of two squares, simplify the above.
all right. Have you ever heard the word completing of two squares before?
Is it-
I believe you should be telling me yes because it's in your textbook. So even last week, I gave you a rough review of completing of two squares, how it's supposed to look like. Okay, so I'm sure you have seen that before and you have also tried understanding it from your textbook. Well, I'm also going to be using this example to try teaching you computing of two squares. Okay, if you are being asked to simplify a quadratic equation, or you are being asked to find the whole turning point on the graph, at least, and they say you should use completing of two squares, at least you'll be able to also apply that method. So when you have the question like this, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? We are talking about quadratic functions. So at the end of the day, we are supposed to what? Uh, Simplify the above. That is, we are supposed to tell the examiner whether it is a what? It is a minimum value or a maximum value. And also we have to tell him where the turning point is. Okay. From whatever we learned from our last lecture. Okay, good. So after repeating your question like this, what are you supposed to do? We say we want to make the coefficients of x to be equal to what? 1. One of them. Okay, so you can see that if I say x, I'm not being specific to anyone because we have the 2 of the x over there. We have x squared and we also have what? X. Okay, good. So from here, what are we going to do? Just come down and follow my procedures and life is going to be much more easier. So I'm going to write what? Put 3 outside and in the bracket, I'm going to open a bracket. So you can see me writing x squared minus what? What am I going to write over here? 2x. Okay. Now I can close my bracket over here. Then I bring my what? Plus what? Plus 10. You see, in this case, I'm using the method of completing of two squares. If here was 12, you see where is c? What is the value of c?
10.
Good. So I'm going to draw a bar over here. You and I, we are going to find the value of A, B, and C, then we proceed. Okay. So I'm sure you already know because from the assignment, you are the one who did the assignment. So A is equal to 3.
Alright.
B is equal to
Let's
-6. And C is equal to 10. Okay, positive 10. All right. From that idea, it implies that in moving on, we have to adopt what this technique. So I'm saying that if C was supposed to be 12, it means that I could close the bracket over here and the 3 will be out and I'll write 4 over here, okay? But because you can see that this guy is trying to be odd, that is why I've left it outside. Okay, good.
okay.
So in this case, what are we going to do? We have to what? Take, the rule says that we should take the coefficients of x. Okay, we should take half of the coefficients of x. Okay, and at the end of the day, we should square the results. Okay, good.
Okay.
So the coefficients of x, that is, we are going to be doing that over here. The coefficients of x. Okay, so we said that what? The coefficients of x is what? -2. So we are saying that if b is equal to what? -2, comma, then if we take half of it, what are we going to get? Then at the end of the day, we can say that what? -2, okay, times what? Half. What are we going to get? -2 times half is equal to
Negative 1.
good. We are going to
Negative 1.
exactly. So we are going to get -1. Okay. And then secondly, what are we going to do? Our next thing we are going to do is that we are going to what? Square the result. Okay. We are going to square the result. Okay. So we say that what? Finally, comma, our result, we are going to square it. Okay. So finally, we are going to what? The square of -1 is what? Finally, we are going to square our result. And the square of -1 is equal to what?
Negative 1.
It's just 1. Okay, good.
Okay.
So if I was writing this in steps, it means that how would I classify my step? I will classify this one as what? Step 1. And I'll classify this one as what? My step 2. And I'll come and classify this stage as what? Step 3. You see, in step 3, what did we do? In step 3, what did we do? We took the hot, half of what? The coefficients of x. Okay. Yes. That's why I say if b is equal to -2, then we have to just multiply half times b. You see. And half times b, what are we going to get? We are going to get -1. At the end of the day, what did I do? I come and take the square of this -1. Okay. So that is what the rule is saying. After taking the half of b, then what are you going to do next? You are going to take what? The square of the result. Okay. And you add it, but you add and subtract it, okay, to the equation. So over here, we are going to say that what? In our step four, we say let's add and subtract the results. Okay. So let's add and subtract our result. So I'm going to write it in brackets so that you don't get confused. Okay. So we adding and subtracting our result is going to look in the form of what? Positive what? 1 minus what? 1. Please, at this stage, do you have any question to ask?
Okay.
So we are saying that what? Let's add and subtract our result. Positive 1 minus 1, comma, in the equation. Okay. In the equation. So if I do this, it's just a short form of that. Okay. So I'm going to write my final answer in the blue pen for you to see. Okay. After doing that, finally, this is what we are going to get. So who did we pick and we did so many magic to? It was this guy, right?
Yes.
Not this guy we pick and we did so many magic to. It means that
Yes.
now in our next step, anywhere we are going to see this guy, we're not going to put this guy over there again. We're going to put what? Positive 1 minus what? 1. You understand me? Okay.
Yes.
So it means that this is our this is our step 5. So this is our step 5. And in the step 5, at the end of the day, you realize that we are getting, let's say, I still bring my 3 outside. Okay, good. And in the bracket, what can we see in the bracket? X squared. But take note, in this case, this 3 is actually going to multiply everything in the bracket that we are going to be seeing. Okay, but before I show
Okay.
you that step, let me finish writing this before. Minus 2x, okay, plus what? 1, okay, minus 1. At the end of the day, we can what? Close the bracket. Then the plus 10. This is the plus 10 you saw initially. All right. At this stage, we have gotten to, I want to take some few questions from you before we proceed. Okay. If you have any,
Okay.
if you have any question to ask, kindly throw them out and then I'll see to that for you before we proceed. All right. If you don't have any question from this, after this step, what do we do next? We can classify here as step 5, and you see that the whole of here is even math. Okay, the whole of here is mathematics. So, what can you see as a physicist when you get after we have gotten to this step or this stage? What can you see as a physicist? As a physicist, what can you see? Can you tell me what you see? Can you tell me?
The one,
Eh? No. For this guy, you can never touch
the
it.
positive.
This one, you can never touch these two things. Okay, if you touch these two people, it means that it will make the whole of this to become hot, just as it was initially. Okay, so we have to take them. We have to study what you are having left here carefully. Okay, before you even proceed. Okay, I can see that these people on their own, they are quadratic equation on their own. Okay, initially, I'm going to go back to the initial equation and show you something that you can't see. I'm going to go back to the initial equation and show you something that you can't see. Okay, have a look at something. You see that when we came here, what can you see over here? This over here, what can you see? You see that this was trying to look like a quadratic equation, but it didn't have C. It only have what? A, B, but it didn't have C. You see?
Yes.
Uh-huh. So at the end of the day, if we have come to this stage, you can see that now we are having A, B, and C. It has C attached to it. Okay. So why don't we keep this as a quadratic equation and treat it separately and also solve this one and this one separately? Don't you see that? Uh-huh. So from here, it implies that from what we have just discovered in our what previous step, this is now going to become what? 3. Okay. Now I can bring my big curly bracket. Then I can open my small brackets in it. And in the small bracket, we have x squared, okay, minus 2x plus 1. Now I close my bracket. Then what can you see else again? I can now bring my hot negative
Yes.
1. Can now bring my negative 1. Then what am I going to do next? I'm going to close this with a big curly bracket. Then I can bring my plus 10. Please, do you agree with me? If you have any question to ask, you can push them to me and I see how best I could help you from here going. Do you have any question to ask from
Yes,
wherever
no.
we started to where we have gotten to now? Do you have any question to ask?
Yes, no.
You don't have any question to ask? All right,
No.
all right, all right. Let's proceed. But do you understand what I'm teaching?
Yes.
All right. So if you get to this stage, what do we do next? When you get to this stage, what are you supposed to do next? But even before we proceed, as a physicist, what can you see over here? What can you see as a physicist over here? What can you see as a physicist over here? Okay, this
But
this is a quadratic equation, right? This one on its own is
yes.
a quadratic equation, just the one I just underlined. Okay, so
Yes.
it implies that whatever you are seeing over here, the one I just underlined, is the same as what? 3. I'm going to open bracket. Okay, whatever you are seeing over there is the same as x squared, or let's say x minus 1 all squared. Okay, x minus 1 all squared minus just what? This one you are seeing over here, plus 10. At this stage, do you have any question to ask? If you have a question to ask me, and then I'll throw more light on that for you. You must have a
That's why
question
you
to ask. Okay, I'm listening.
that's why you write it. Why do you write x minus one to bracket squared?
Do you,
That's why I don't understand.
yes. Do you remember I told you that? I told you some time ago. It was our first lecture. Okay. In our first lecture, that was when I told you that anytime you see a quadratic equation like this, of this form, we are going to take a different example. We will solve it instead that the same thing will be happening. Anytime you see a quadratic equation of this form, okay,
Mm.
it is as simple as that. To get, if you don't want to write the whole thing and you want to write it in a form of bracket exponent 2, you just pick the x, okay, minus what? C, and you square it. That is all. Do you agree with me? What is the value of
You
C?
pick
In this case, what is the value of C?
one.
Thank you very much. So that is why I was doing this over here. x minus what? 1, or into brackets, you square it. Do you know that if you multiply this again, you will get whatever you had initially in the brackets? Okay.
Yes.
Let's,
So
if you have little doubt, we could prove that for you to see. If you are okay, we could just move on.
so if the one was negative, it will be x minus 1.
Yes, it will be x minus minus 1. Okay. In that case, this is how you
Okay.
write it. You write it like this, x. Okay. Then if you bring this minus, before you bring the other minus 1, make sure you open a bracket and put it into it like this. Close it. Now you can open a big one. You see that once this bracket have come, the next bracket, you have to use a different one. Okay. Else it will confuse you. You understand me? Now you can put your
Yes.
what square over here like this. You understand me? Uh-huh.
Yes.
As simple as that. So we could proceed. If you multiply that back, you still get whatever you had at the top. I remember teaching you this. So you could even use Pascal triangular method too. You see that it will work. Okay. Yes. So
Yes.
from let's proceed. Let's proceed. Let's proceed. So from here to what can you see as a physicist? Could you tell me what you can see over here as a physicist? Can you see anything from here, from this point? All right. From here, what I can see is I can see what? I can see 3. I can see that 3 can multiply the whole of this x minus 1. Okay. Then I close my bracket, all squared. And I can also see that what? This 3 can multiply the 1, which is going to give me what? Minus 3. Okay. At the end of the day, plus 10. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Finally, what is going to happen? Finally, you realize that what is going to happen over here is that we are going to be getting still what is in the bracket. We will not touch it. Okay. We will not touch it because of the work we want to simplify. So this is going to be what we are still going to maintain this, but the other ones, you see that we can simplify them. So
Yes.
minus 3 plus 10 is equal to what? If you are owing
7.
if you are owing 3 series and you go and if you are owing 3 series and you send 10 cedi that you are going to pay, at the end of the day, you realize that they will give you what? Just a 7 cedi balance. Okay, good. At this stage that we have gotten to, I told you that always your C is your what? Is your C is always your C is going to either be your what? Your minimum or what? Maximum value. Okay. Always your C is going to be your either your maximum or what? Minimum value. So you see in this case how you got the 7 you had in your book. I hope you
Yes.
know where the 7 is coming from.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Uh-huh. I hope you know where the 7 is coming from.
Yes.
Uh-huh. The 7 is the what? The vectors at what? Y. Is that
Yes.
not? And what did I say? The vectors what? It's just the turning point. Okay. Uh-huh. Of the
Yes.
curve. That is all. So this 7 that I have what? I have circled is the what? The value at which the graph is either going to become maximum or what? Minimum.
Minimum.
Quickly tell me from our main equation. Looking at the equation, is this graph going to be a minimum or maximum graph?
Minimum.
Thank you. So this graph is going to be a minimum graph, okay? And the minimum value is
Okay.
uh,
7.
7. But you see that uh, at least value occur when what? X is equal to -1, okay? Uh-huh. The least
Okay.
value. So I'm going to say that what? The least, the least value, the least, the least value occurs when X minus what? 1 is equal to what? 0. The least value, okay, when x minus 1 is equal to 0. And if I write IE means that is, okay? So we can say that
Okay.
that is when x is equal to just 1. Do you agree with me? What I have just put into the square form, if you make x the subject, what are you going to get?
Yeah.
If
X equals
if you
1.
make x, you are going to get 1. Okay,
Yes.
you are going to get 1. Okay, and hence we say that it occurs. Okay, and hence
Okay.
uh the minimum value. Okay, and hence the minimum value. You said it is minimum, and hence the minimum value and hence the minimum value of f of x and hence the minimum value of f of x and hence the minimum value of f of x is what? Tell me.
7.
Exactly. And hence the minimum value of f of x is 7. Full stop. So when you tell the examiner this at least alone, you won't lose marks. Okay, you are surely going to get your marks. So I want to ask if you have some questions to ask before we proceed, or even before we take um, some different examples. Okay, so please, do you have any question to ask? Looking at where we started from to where we have gotten to, do you have any question to ask? Do you have any question to ask?
No.
You don't have any question to ask. So the first step that we were using and the second step, which one do you find to be more uh, approachive?
Use the other time.
You don't like this method?
Oh.
Hello?
No.
But is it something that is it something you think is too complicated?
Now, this one, if you don't want some of the things, so can mistakenly leave something, then the thing with this.
All right, all right. So I want us to take maybe we take like one last example and then we see how best we could wrap up for the class. Are you fine by that?
Just with.
Okay. So we are going to take a different example. You are quickly going to solve and tell me your answers now, and then
Am I using this formula that you just taught?
oh, you can use any formula to tell me the answer, but I will teach you using this because I've already taught you that one. I know that it's easier. Okay, I want you to learn how to do this one. That is why I want to waste time on this one. Do you get me? Because a question
Yes.
can ask you, you can pick your past question now and you will see what I'm saying. Pick your past question and see whether you can find questions like this. You can open to quadratic function. So I could call this maybe example 3. I could call this maybe example 3. Please, have you gotten in touch with your past question?
I thought I'm not going to take it.
Okay, you are now going for your past question. Let me give you about 2 to 3 minutes to quickly wrap up and get your past question, and let's see how best. All right. Since our time is up, let's proceed. Okay. What have you seen so
But
far? What have you realized after opening the past question for some couple of minutes? What have you realized?
you said using a method of completing squares.
Mm-hmm. Oh, read a question to me and let me also have an insight from whatever you have just learned.
Okay. So using the method of completing squares, first make sure the coefficient of x squared is 1. If it
Okay.
is not, before completing the square of the RHS.
Okay. Is that or haven't you seen any other one too?
No, that's it.
Okay. We this is our next question. Okay, we're saying simplify 2x squared minus x minus 3. Okay. So you should simplify this. Okay. If I say you should simplify, it means that we are learning what quadratic function. So you should find or you should determine whether this is a minimum or maximum curve, and tell me the turning point and also the vectors at y. That is all. So quickly simplify this in 2 minutes as I'm writing the question, and even tell me the answers before I solve. Okay. Yes, that is how I want
Okay.
the lesson to be. All right. So I have also put in my question over here, and the question says that we should find the turning point of the equation above. In our solution, the best thing we are supposed to do is that we are supposed to repeat the question for 1 mark. Good. In repeating the question, I'm getting 2x squared minus x minus 3. Okay. What am I supposed to do next? Um, I, I'm supposed to just um put this into bracket, okay? And then because I want to make the coefficient of x to be equal to what? 1. Good. So this implies that this is going to be 2. Okay, I'm going to write my 2 over here. Now I can put my x over here. Then this is now going to become what? At the end of the day, this is going to become 1 over 2. Okay. If you multiply it back again, you realize that 2 over 2 is still going to give you what? 1. So still the coefficient is the same thing. And then in this stage, how do you handle such a question? Okay, this looks scary like the first one, but you don't have to shake. Okay, the first one too, we could have also done this, but because I didn't want you to be meeting fraction at this at that point, that is why. But this stage, you have to meet fraction. So this is going to be what? 3 over 2. Okay, good. Now I could put all of this into brackets and come and put all of this one too into brackets. Exactly. Exactly. Please, what are the values you had?
Yes, I'm not done yet.
Oh, just negative b over 2a. Then at the end of the day, you're going to put this in. So the vectors at x, what did you get?
1 over 4.
So at least tell me something. Oh, the vectors at x, I get this number. Then I know that, oh, you are on it solving the other one. You said you have 1 over 4. We will check whether you are telling lies or not. So that is the answer.
Okay.
So we continue. When we get to here, what do we say we do next? We say we have to take half of what? This. We have to take half of this, and then at the end of the day, we square the result to um, proceed. So this implies that if if b is equal to let's say minus 1 over 2. If b is equal to minus 1 over 2, comma, then we can say that 1 over 2 times what? Minus 1 over 2 is going to give us minus 1 over 4. If that is the case, we can say that finally, 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 we are going to square our results. Okay. So finally, in this case, I'm not going to write so many English again. So finally, we are going to get what? Finally, okay, let's square the result. Let's square the result. So finally, let's square the result. And the result we had is what? Minus 1 over 4. All right. So in squaring the result, at the end of the day, we are getting um, minus 1 over 4. Okay, good. So we say we square the result. That is it. And what? Add and what? Subtract. So I'm just going to write it in short. And add and